From the 1011 Now Alert Center, this is Morning Pulse.
Wednesday. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. My mic was turning on. This is your Morning Pulse for Wednesday, January 21st. We're going to start things off live with our breaking news from overnight here. Just reading this off from the Lincoln Police Department. They're investigating a shooting in North Lincoln on Tuesday, January 20th. Around 8 p.m., LPD was dispatched to the area of 66th and Colfax Streets on reports of gunshots. When officers arrived, they located multiple bullet casings. Then, following this, at 8:07 p.m., LPD was dispatched to an area hospital for a 21-year-old Lincoln man with a gunshot wound, according to LPD. Then, at 8:21 p.m., LPD was again dispatched to a nearby hospital for an 18-year-old Lincoln male with a gunshot wound, and both received treatment for those non-life-threatening injuries. Now, this is what we know so far, but the shooting is still under investigation. If we get any more updates for you this morning or later on, we'll continue to keep you posted with any sort of developments that come out of this. But right now, 2 people with gunshot wounds found or received at local hospitals nearby this incident, following LPD going over again to 66th and Colfax Streets on a report of gunshots starting at 8. So again, we'll continue to keep you updated as we work to learn more about this case. But that being said, we have more headlines for you this morning. We'll kick things off into our international headline for you. After a travel delay, U.S. President Donald Trump is in Davos, Switzerland, where he will address the World Economic Forum and meet with world leaders. European officials are planning to use the forum to stage a diplomatic intervention to cool tensions over Greenland that have put the continent on edge and may now threaten survival of NATO, according to CNN. On that report, Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen will visit the UK on Thursday for talks, and her British counterpart, Keir Starmer, has said, as he underlined, that Britain would not yield to Greenland. So a lot happening at this forum, a slight travel hiccup where Trump will no longer be speaking with Germany's leaders because of this delay, but we'll continue to keep you updated if anything comes out of this World Economic Forum. Now switching over to our local headlines and happening today. Several state senators will go over their efforts to fight domestic violence during the ongoing legislative session. Senators, along with advocates, will meet at the Capitol today for a press conference. There, they'll highlight some bills introduced this session aimed at preventing violence. They say legislation would enhance safety and support for survivors, as well as accountability for offenders. We'll be at the conference today, happening at noon, to share what they have to say. Now over to our election coverage this morning. Lancaster County Assessor and Register of Deeds Dan Nolte seeking re-election this year. His position oversees the city's work to register properties, create maps and databases, and assessing property valuations. We sat down with Nolte to talk about running again. One thing he's worked on during his term is doing valuations yearly instead of every 3 years to provide more gradual valuation increases.
It's more work for staff, and I appreciate the extra effort they're putting in because we're trying to help people. I think by doing this every year, it will make things in the long run better for people. That's my goal. None of these huge increases anymore. It's just, I don't think it does anyone any good.
Nolte says he's also worked for the last 4 years to make more people aware of homestead exemptions for those 65 and older to help provide relief on their property taxes. With the pink slips for property valuations just recently released, he says now is the time to call his office for an informal hearing to ensure properties are assessed as accurately as possible. Now to an exclusive. It's a story we've been following since 2024. Jerica Hamry, missing from Lincoln. In December, she was found dead in a barn in Furness County, 3 hours from Lincoln in the southwest part of the state. Her parents say she had been missing for over a year, and her death is now being investigated as a homicide. 1011's Darsha Dodge traveled to Oxford to hear Jerica's story and learn more about who she was in an exclusive interview. You can find the full thing online, but Craig and Lisa, Jerica's parents, remember their third oldest child as the little girl who used to paint her dog's nails, play in the Republican River with her siblings, described as adventurous, spontaneous, a risk taker, animal lover, and the family class clown. Jerica started a new relationship, her parents concerned with what they called red flags, and later also finding she was experimenting with drugs.
She couldn't see that prison she was already living in, how she'd already lost her children, and how our whole family just desperately wanted her to be able to get her life turned around. I think for so long, in my heart, I had kind of thought, it's possible that we will never find her. And so I had just been guarded against that.
You just heard from Craig and Lisa Hamry on that. And you can watch this full story and interview on our website, 1011now.com. That reporting done by our own Darsha Dodge, who traveled all the way out to Oxford for that story. Hamry say to never give up, to fight an addiction, even when it hurts. Jerica's loved ones will continue their healing journey as the love she brought into this world lives on through her daughters. Now, before we get to our final story this morning, a call to action on this important story that we have for you. Today, 1011 News and the Nebraska Community Blood Bank are asking you to help save lives at the Broadcasters Unite for Life Winter Blood Drive. Join us today and tomorrow at Havelock United Methodist Church. Donors receive a Chick-fil-A sandwich and a t-shirt. Pretty sweet deal if you ask me. Schedule your appointment at ncbb.org and visit our website for more information. Now, all that free stuff aside, this comes at a crucial moment as the Nebraska Community Blood Bank has declared a blood emergency after noticing a sharp decline in blood donations across the state. In recent weeks, blood donations have dropped nearly 30% below the needed amount to meet hospital demands. So we hope to see you there. Again, information on your screen right there, happening today and tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now wrapping things up with your final story this morning. According to reports from CBS Sports, Nebraska Special Teams Coordinator Mike Eckler is set to join the staff at USC. Post says Eckler will be hired by the Trojans for the same position. He previously coached there back in 2013, leading the linebackers. Eckler is credited with making a huge impact with the Huskers last fall. He took an unproductive return unit in 2024 and turned it into one of the best in the Big Ten. Huskers blocked 3 field goals and 2 punts with Eckler on the sidelines. So we'll have to see how this shakes out over there on the Husker football team. That's going to be your morning pulse for this Wednesday morning, and we'll wrap things up with a check-in with our meteorologist, Brandon Rector. Again, we have quite the set of conditions, so we'll throw up that 7-day and then toss things over to Brandon.
Good Wednesday morning. Meteorologist Brandon Rector with you in the 1011 Severe Weather Center. We have a wind advisory in place for much of eastern Nebraska late this morning to early this evening. Wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour possible. In fact, here's a look at our future wind gusts at 3 this afternoon. Those wind gusts around 25 to 50 miles per hour across the state and could be highest, it looks like, in the northeast. Overall, it will be mostly sunny to partly cloudy for today, maybe partly to mostly cloudy north central and northeastern Nebraska, and in the northeastern part of the state is where there'll be a 20% chance of some snow showers, a better chance to the north and east, and then it will be mostly clear to partly cloudy for this evening. Temperatures at noon in the low 30s to low 40s. By 4, it's upper 20s to mid 40s, and at 8 this evening, upper teens to around 30. In Lincoln for today, warming up to the mid-40s this afternoon.
From the 1011 Now Alert Center, this is Morning Pulse.